Hi, this is Margi Sank from MargiStamps.com, back doing my videoing today. So these were the cards that we did in our last kit class, or they were the cards. This was the option, tricked up option, and I demonstrated how to use your Stamparatus to do the inside of the card. I did change it a little bit around for the Stamparatus because it just made it quicker. So let me go through how we could do that really quite quickly so you can see how you can use your Stamparatus. One of the good things about the Stamparatus is you can do, you lay up your stamps and you can do multiple of the same, and that's especially great at Christmas time when you're more likely to do a batch. So first things first, I actually want to mask this. And so therefore what I needed to do was make my mask first. And I'll show you what I did for that. I'm just going to pop that here so it doesn't get too distracting for you. And I've just stamped it again now on Post-it note. And there's 3 stuck together. So I've just peeled off 3 at one time. I've stamped this poinsettia image in real red, which I will be using. Then I would fussy cut that Post-it note stamped image, and I've cut quite close to the edge. I haven't cut really into the middle though. And then you've got 3 of them. I've already used 1, you can see here, and you can peel them apart, so then you have 3 masks. You want them thin, that's why Post-it notes are really good, because you'll get a better impression with your stamp when you stamp around it. But you also, if you have multiple copies, they don't get too used and with lots of images on, which could potentially be transferred. So I will pop that aside. I just wanted to show you how to do that. When you do your stamping on your Post-it note, make sure, well, you won't be able to see that, but make sure that's on the sticky bits under here. So I know that I've got at least half of that flower is going to have the sticky underneath it. So let me pop that out of the way again now, and I'll show you how I line these up. First of all, one of my lovely friends said, Margie, could you demonstrate this? And I'd already done these cards. And I hadn't actually even thought to use my Stamparatus for these cards, so I'm pleased that she asked me. Now, when I demonstrated this in class, I don't think I had it effectively upside down when you're looking at it. But when you've got a card like this, you need to be able to do it, otherwise it won't work. So let me show you this. This is one that was the same design, so you see it would be upside down when you're looking at it. First thing I do is I'm happy with this design, so I lay my very clean stamps on top. They're the red par, so they're going to be done at one time. You can see I've marked the corner of where my card is going to be at that point, and I've used my grid lines to keep it clean. This is obviously just to set up, but I need it in the same place, otherwise it won't work. And I've anchored with my magnet strips that are wrapped in washi tape, so they're not quite as strong, and also they're easier for me to pick up. So I've worked out where I want my red to be, and now I'm just going to put a bit of pressure on that so I can pick them up and they'll be in the right spot. I'll do exactly the same thing with the green ones, and I've got these out. So these are from Merriest Moments stamp set, which is part of the Merriest Moments bundle. It's a hybrid embossing folder, so it's got dies and an embossing folder. Okay, so we're going back to here. So I've got the larger one, which I'm going to pop here. There is a trick for this. You've just got to remember to use your mask so you don't stamp all over your red flower. I'll probably bring that back a bit closer. So that's that one. And that one's going to go there. So they're next to each other. Then I use another plate. So the Stamparatus comes with 2 plates and they're hinged on each side. So I pop that one down and I can pick up the green bits. Well, the images are going to be stamped in green. Now I can pop that to one side. You can see the center of the flower is stamped differently. I haven't used another plate. It's a different colour. I've just put it on a tiny block. All right. Now, that one's finished, obviously, so we don't need to use that. We can take that out of the way. And we can find the cardstock base that I have already cut. So just bear with me, Jiffy, and I will come back with that. Okay, I am now back with my base. I thought I was so organised, but I was so seriously well organised that I popped it aside. Now, that would be how I want it, except I need to turn it around. So this is the inside of the card, and I need to mark my spots, which is going to be here and here. Use the magnets, because you're not stamping. Where I've got these magnets, you won't be stamping. You want a strong cover here because they tend to grab a bit. Okay, now you are not in view, so I'm going to pick up my Stamparatus and show you something. I'm going to move this all the way across. Okay, you can see a magnet and you can see the stamp here. In order to stamp and get a good cover, I suggest you put a stamp case underneath that arm because it will give you a firm base on which to ink up. Like, let me just do this so you can actually see what's happening. All right, just close it and you can press. One of my ladies has a great idea of using a blackboard cleaner. Oh look, see, that hasn't got it. There we are. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I'm happy with that. It's got a great cover. So I can pop that one, just cover that up again. Now I need my mask. Oh, and they're under here. No, they're not. Where did I put them? Here they are, over here. All right, I want to make sure it's still in view. And I'll use one that I've cut. There we go. So I've only got one layer of sticky. The reason you want to do that is because you want to get the least obstruction to your stamp. It does take a bit of a jiggle to do this, and I probably should have worked it out. No, frustrating, isn't it? It's because I'm in a hurry, I think. Here we go, that's it. So I need to mask this now because I don't want green on my flower. So when you do that, it's the image in front is the one that gets stamped first. It seems a bit counterintuitive, but that's what works. And I've got another stamp case that I'm going to put under here, so I can get my green coverage right, which I don't know how far out of view you are. You might get a little bit of in there. All right, so I'm just going to stamp. Try not to get too much ink all over your plates if you can help it. And I usually have a bit of a look to make sure I've got okay coverage. I'm just going to have a little look. I think you can see most of that in view. There we are. Now I'll come back so you can see what I'm doing down here. Okay. It's a photopolymer stamp, this one obviously, and so I'm using my sheet of foam under here. I'll show you that when I've done my stamping. Right, so you can see I haven't got the ink here and here. So the beauty of this is anchored. I can come back over the top and just exert a bit of pressure over those spots, and I'll get a really good coverage. A bit more there. Look, there we are. Done. So then you lift off your mask. Looks pretty good. And then I would just, with this, I've got grey granite because it showed up more than smoky slate. And I'm just going to go over the top. There we are. And I have now finished the inside of a card. Now that was, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to turn it around so it's up the right way. I'm happy with that. It's done. And so I've made a card base ready just to pop either of these fronts on. So that one or that one. The other thing I wanted to show you with the Stamparatus is that it is really useful for large stamps. I'm just going to take this one out. I've got a spare plate. You can buy spare plates. I've got one, and I've managed to hinge it the wrong way. So I just wanted to go through a couple of things. When you purchase your Stamparatus, it comes with this foam mat. Now, when you're using photopolymer stamps, they're actually skinnier. I'm going to show you. See, can you see they're sort of skinny? Whereas a rubber stamp has this foam back on it. So when you're using rubber, you actually remove this. So you've just got your base plate, and I always use grid paper on top, mainly because I use it to line up with. So now I wanted to show you how to stamp a really large stamp. Now this would work for a large background stamp or any large stamp or any stamp actually, but I wanted especially to show you with the large stamps because I find the large block is too big for my hands to hang on to. I really like this. So I've positioned this where I want it, and I'm going to position this so it's bigger. The reason being is the die for this cuts up to here. So I need to have it proud of that. So once again, I'm not stamping, I don't stamp close to the hinges. I stamp away from the hinges. I get a better impression. I'm going to anchor the bottom and the top of this because I find that with the large stamps, or sometimes you need a bit more pressure. Now I've just cleaned this. Here we are. And I'll now go over it. So I'm obviously just tapping my ink pad all over it. I'm using Mossy Meadow this time. I've got these already cut in Blackberry Bliss and Night of Navy, so I thought I'd use Mossy Meadow. It's another lovely background or neutral colour for greetings. There's just a dot there. I don't know what that is. Okay. So now just close your arm over. Exert some pressure. I just use the fleshy part of my hand. And then just lift that up. Now, you can probably see there's a little bit missing just in here and some of the large elements. It might be enough just to go back on those spots. So I'll just give this a go. Just wanted to say it's missing a little bit too. I could stamp again, but I may not need to. Let's have a look. Sort of okay. But I also wanted to show you that because we've got this really well anchored, and this is the advantage of the Stamparatus, you can say, I'd like a little bit more depth of colour, thanks very much. Just come back over the top again. And I'll actually move from heart is being a bit problematic. So it's that little star. There we go. So there you have all your greetings are now stamped, and we can run that through your cut and emboss machine or your Big Shot machine in one pass. I shall be back in a jiff for that. I also wanted to show you the messages die. It's one die. It fits nicely over all of these images. There's line-up points for you. There's the heart up the top, and then there's 3 stars to help you get your die adequately aligned on your messages. I'll now die cut this for you. So to recap, many messages is this one here, is this one I was demonstrating, is on page 42 of the annual catalogue. The same die also die cuts this one here called Many Happenings. So these are a little bit more, I don't know, different celebrations, different ways to do it. So it's from the annual catalogue. I'll just show you these greetings now. Coming back. So these will just flick off my plate. There we go. And they all pop out. So it was one pass through and they can just pop out. So I've got a whole stash of greetings. I can just pop them into a little container. I've got some already in there and I've got different colours now. So that's to recap from our Stamparatus video. And these, and it was this, the Merriest Moment Suite. Which, as she runs over to the other side of the room, also is bundled with this embossing folder and these lovely dies. So there we are, just a little recap for you. So once again, it's a beautiful weekend so far. Have a lovely time and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.